Hello and welcome to my video today. I'm going to be showing you how to replace the built-in USB port module in the center console with a new one that's connected to the ICC. This will avoid the need to use that dongle cable from the Carlinkit if you have OS 2.6 to provide Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. The new USB module is a GM part, as was the Fisker version, and it's found in the Silverado, Tahoe, and Spark EV. Thanks to the Beast21 for showing this method. I have a link to his video in the video description. There are various part numbers that are listed on eBay, and I purchased 3 of them to test out on the Fisker Ocean. There are variations that include 1 versus 2 input ports, as well as 3-pin versus 6-pin power connectors. So I'm going to see if that makes any difference on the Ocean and functionality, and I'll show you which one that I recommend. So let's get started. So here's the box that I got from eBay, and I'm just going to dump all the parts out here and take them out of the bags. So if you look at all 3, they are roughly similar in size. They all have the same front panel dimensions, slightly different lengths, but they all should fit into the Ocean. And if you look here, you'll see that 2 of them have SD card slots, and I don't know if that makes any difference since I don't think an SD is going to be usable even when connected to the service cable. Otherwise, they all have USB-C and USB-A ports, and they will be powered as well as connected to the ICC. And on the back, there's more variations. So here is the back of these 2. There are 2 mini USB inputs, and I'll show you the cable that you're going to need for that. And there are 2 power connectors. This one has 3 pins and this one has 6 pins. So yeah, not sure if that makes a difference with the Ocean. I'm pretty sure the Ocean has a 6-pin, so I don't know if 3-pin is going to be enough. And this one is slightly different in that it also has 6-pin like this one, but it only has 1 mini USB input. Otherwise, if you look at the part numbers on here, so that's it for these modules. So when these are inserted into the car, there are 4 clips, 2 on each side, that hold this in place in the center console. Here is the additional item we're going to need: a 1-foot or 2-foot USB-A to mini USB connector cable. And this goes to the ICC cable, which has a female connector, and this is the male connector end. And then this side goes into the back of the module. So if you line them up, it can be inserted like so. We will disconnect the power connector from the existing one in the car and then connect it to this, and then that is it. The most difficult part is accessing the module. We need to remove some trim panels, hide the wiring for this cable and the service cable that goes to the ICC. So let's go to the car and I'll show you how to remove the existing module. And here are the tools that we're going to be using today for this project. Either of these types of plastic pry bars to loosen the trim panels and to access the area where the module is. And also a 10mm socket for removing 1 bolt on the right side trim panel and guide the service USB cable to the center console storage area. First thing we're going to do is loosen up this trim panel. It goes all the way from the dashboard to the rear of the center console. It's using a bunch of clips. You can use plastic pry bars like this to loosen up. You can place them underneath this area here and just slowly pry them apart along here. If you've seen other videos I've done, I've previously loosened these or removed these to run wires from the front and rear of the car. So it's something I do pretty often to hide wires, is run them in the center console, either the lower section or the upper section. You don't totally need to remove this, you just need to loosen this up so that this center area here is accessible. Now I'm going to go on the other side and do the same thing. Now we're in the front passenger seat by the center console, and if you've accessed the ICC cable before, which you most likely have if you installed the OS 2.6 hardware kit, underneath the trim panel here, which you can just pop up along the edge, there will be a bolt here that you're going to need to remove to get access to this lower trim panel piece that we're going to need to pop out. Using a 10mm socket, it will come right out. Leave this panel loose. Now you can use your trim tool along here and pop out this trim piece. All right, so I have it loosened up here. I am going to keep pulling it out. And I should have good access behind the area here. So inside this area is the ICC cable. It is a fairly long USB cable. And here is the female end here. And we're going to be connecting this to the mini USB cable on that new module. So what we're going to do is route the cable from this area here along this bottom trim panel, and you just want to have it so that it goes inside this area here. Make sure to watch out all of the clips, that you do not place the cable in front of the clips so that they don't get pinched. Then you have the cable here. Just going to push it down, and I'm just going to let it dangle in this area right here while we do the next step. I'm going to be using the most commonly found variation that has the 6-pin power connector and the 2 mini USB inputs. Take the mini USB and insert it into this connector right here. I'm going to try both of these, see if it makes any difference. Now we need to lift up this portion here so we can access that module. If you don't have the taco tray here, it's a bit easier to do, but I'm going to show you with mine. With the taco tray, I'm going to lean it up out of the way so that I can get in here. Don't forget, there is a small screw located in the lower left-hand side of this trim plate where the taco tray connects to that hinge. Make sure to remove that screw, otherwise the panel will not pull up and you can't get that module out. There are 2 clips holding this in place. There's one on this end and one on this end, so I'm just going to push that clip in so that this pops up. Also on this side, gently pull up on the panel here, and we are going to need to push in the 4 clips. There's 2 on each side so that this module will pop out. You can feel them with your fingers, and you may be able to access those clips and press them in. Like I did on the right side here, I just was able to push those in with my finger, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. And then it should come out freely. So yeah, I was able to do that just pressing these in with my fingers, and this whole thing will pop out. There's not a whole lot of cable here, so this is about as far as I can get it. So let me zoom in a little bit here to give you a better view. This is the power clip here. We need to press this red switch here, flip it out. Then there's a little black tab. Press that black tab, and this whole thing will pop out. Like that. And here's a look at the module itself. Let me compare it to the one I'm going to be inserting right now. So side by side, you can see that they both have the 6-pin power connectors here and here. But since this doesn't have data, it doesn't have any of those mini USBs. But otherwise, it looks fairly similar. So there we go. So I'm going to place the original Fisker one aside. Since the power cable is so short, I'm going to route the USB cable first so that I can get that connected to the ICC. So let's place that in here, and you should be able to fit it into this opening and reach it on this side, like that. Then attach it to the ICC, so like so. Then we can hide this combination inside the trim panel here. Reach in and grab that power cable again. And we're going to attach it to the new module. Like so. Push it in. It will snap into place. May need to use that trim tool just to get it to snap in, since this is very tight back here. All right, so it's now in place, and then just press that red button down and it is locked in. Then you can just insert it into the opening here and it will snap into place. I'm not going to do that right now since I'm going to be testing all 3 of these modules to see which one I like the best. And then when you're done, put the cable in here. Make sure that this is not in front of any of the clips. You don't want to pinch the cable. So you can easily hide this inside that opening. There's plenty of room inside there. And then you can reattach all of the side trim pieces, snap those in place, and you're all set. On the very front where I took that 10mm bolt out, you can put that one back in and then put the trim plate over that. All right, so let's snap the module into the trim plate here. All those clips will snap into place. Then press this down. There's the snap on this side and the snap on this side. Then you can take the taco tray, put it in its down position here, and there it is. But that's pretty much what you do. You push this all the way in, it snaps in place. Then all you need to do is put all of these trim pieces back together again. So let's start up the car and test out the USB plug. All right, so all we have to do is install the Carlinkit. The USB-A goes right in here. Let's press the Carlink, and it says, please insert product. Let's make sure that is all the way in. And yeah, so it identifies the Carlinkit. It says now, please connect the phone. And I am going to show you what that looks like with my AI box. I am going to power that up, attach that to the ends of the Carlinkit dongle. And within a minute, this should show the AI box. It has to boot up. And as you can see, the AI box is working. So this greatly simplifies the Carlinkit dongle. You just need one USB cable into that port and you're set. Let's disconnect real quick. And I am going to put a USB-A to USB-C adapter on. And I'm going to try the upper port and see if that works as well. It says, please insert product. Then it says, please connect phone. Now it's connecting to the AI box. And the AI box is there. So yeah, you can use either the USB-C or the USB-A port that are on this new module. They both are now powered and have connection to the ICC. I happen to have an SD card here with some photos and videos on it. I'm going to insert that into the port and see if that makes any difference. I can't see how it would work since I don't think there's anything in the ICC that will directly connect to that. I can't think of a way of accessing that SD card through the current system. If you know of a way or want me to try something, please let me know down below in the comments. Otherwise, it's just an SD card port that's not usable at this time. Now I'm going to test the other port. There are two USB ports on here. I'm going to remove this one and put it in the one right above it and see if that makes a difference. Let's go back into the AutoKit. If I plug in to the USB, Let's see what it says. I am not getting anything here by connecting to that port. Let me just try it again with the USB-C. Not getting anything there. So, from what we can tell here, you do need to use the USB port that is next to the power connector. And if you don't use that mini USB port, it will not connect to the ICC. So I am guessing this other port is most likely for the SD card. I'm now going to disconnect this module. I'm going to pull out that red tab and then pull out the module, and I'm going to test the second one that I have. This one has the 3 power pins and 2 mini USBs. So I am going to connect the mini USB that's near the power connector, since I know it has to be that one. Make sure that's plugged in all the way. And then I'm going to connect the power. This cable is so short. Snap in, press that. Now I'm going to insert it most of the way. And I am going to attach the Carlinkit. And let's see what we have on the screen. All right. And then we have the AI box. All right, so even with the 3-pin connector, it seems to be getting all it needs as far as power goes and data. All right, well, that was a big question I had, is whether the 3-pin worked with the Ocean or not, and it appears that it is working. All right, well, that's good news. So I am going to disconnect, and just to compare, I am going to take the USB out and put it in the other port to verify. Snap that in. So let's connect the USB. Let's give it a minute or so. Yep, the same issue with the other module. If you don't use the mini USB that's next to the power connector, it does not connect to the ICC. So I am going to take out the Carlinkit and take off the power and remove that port and take out the USB. And let's try the last one here. This is the last one with an SD card, USB-A, USB-C, and we have the 6-pin power and 1 mini USB. So let's connect the USB and get the power. Insert that into the plug. Snap in place. Press the red button. All right, there we go. So I'll insert that there. And let's see how it works. I'm going to insert the Carlinkit. And it says, please connect the phone. And we do have the AI box, so that's good news. So all 3 of these USB modules worked. That's great news. So I'm very happy with the results. All 3 of these modules worked with the Fisker Ocean and with the Carlinkit using the OS 2.6 hardware kit. You can get your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay or Android AI box, and then you're pretty good here. It saves having to have a extender cable that connects to the ICC and simplifies connection. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll have the link for all of these modules in the video description. So feel free to follow the procedure that I showed here, and you also will be able to save on cabling, and it's just a cleaner setup with just the one cable. All right, well, that about does it for the video today. You saw how to remove the old USB module, put the new one in, and fairly straightforward process. Don't forget to put everything back together again and avoid putting the cables near the clips, and you should be good. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'll have the link for all 3 of these USB modules in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.